Hey everyone, welcome back. You know, Diving into this election cycle has been like riding a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, definitely. Lots of twists and turns we probably didn't see coming.
Exactly. And today we're taking a deep dive into some polling data that has me particularly intrigued. There's this whole narrative about Donald Trump's unwavering support, but it seems like there might be some cracks in the foundation, especially when we zoom in on a key demographic, white voters without college degrees.
Ah, yes. The heart of Trump's base.
Precisely. And CNN's data whiz, Harry Enten, the guy who crunches the numbers, he's flagging a potential shift that's got everyone buzzing.
Right, right.
So we're talking about a demographic that's been a cornerstone of Trump support in the past, but Inten's analysis suggests that their unwavering loyalty might be, well, wavering.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This group, they were a driving force behind his 2016 victory.
Oh, absolutely. Their support was undeniable back then.
Yeah. So any sign of a shift within this demographic is a big deal.
Huge. Like, we're seeing his lead shrink from a commanding 33% in 2016 to 27% now. Now, I know, 27% is still a hefty chunk.
It is.
But even a slight dip, it raises questions, right?
It definitely does,
Mm.
especially, and I think this is what makes it even more interesting. When we consider the gains his opponent is making among Black and Hispanic voters.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, those trends combined, that starts to paint a very different picture of the electoral landscape.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really crucial to understand why this particular demographic is so important. Because, it's easy to get caught up in percentages in individual voter groups,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to remember the bigger picture, right?
Totally,
And
yeah.
the bigger picture here is that non-college white voters, they make up a whopping 40% of the electorate.
40%. Wow, that's huge.
That's more than college-educated white voters, AD, all other voter groups combined.
Really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? It's like, okay, this isn't just a small segment of the population we're talking about.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This group has the potential to swing the election.
Absolutely. And you know what? I remember Intention specifically pointing out how crucial this group is in those key battleground states.
The blue wall states.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Those states were absolutely critical to Trump's victory back in 2016.
Oh, absolutely. And in these states, non-college white voters, they make up over 50% of registered voters.
Over half.
Yeah, so any significant shift in their voting patterns, it could dramatically alter the electoral map.
So let me get this straight. We're seeing a potential shift in support amongst a group that was, solidly in Trump's corner, a group that makes up a significant portion of the electorate, and a group that's particularly influential in those nail-biter battleground states.
You got it.
That's a lot to unpack. So the million-dollar question is, what's driving this change? Like, why is this happening?
Right. Well, that's where things get a little murky. There are a lot of theories floating around. Some analysts are pointing to economic anxiety as a possible reason. They're saying, maybe some of these voters are feeling left behind by the economic recovery.
Makes sense.
Others are suggesting it could be linked to shifting cultural values.
Yeah.
As the country becomes more diverse and social norms evolve, maybe some of these voters are feeling a sense of cultural displacement.
Interesting.
And of course, there's always the possibility of dissatisfaction with Trump's policies, right? Like maybe some of his core supporters are starting to have second thoughts about some of the things he's done or not done.
Yeah, it's probably a whole mix of factors, isn't it?
Almost certainly. It's like a giant political jigsaw puzzle, and we're trying to figure out where all the pieces fit.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, like, what does this all mean for the election? Is this a sign of a bigger shift in American politics? Or is it just, a blip on the radar?
That's the big question, isn't it? Could this be a sign that we're on the verge of a political realignment? Or is it just a temporary fluctuation?
That's a real head scratcher.
It is. But one thing's for sure. This election cycle, it's full of surprises.
Mm.
And it's keeping us all on the edge of our seats.
Absolutely. Well, I think this deep dive has given us a lot to chew on. I mean, we've got this potential shift in support among a key demographic, a ton of possible explanations for why it might be happening, and a whole lot of uncertainty about what it means for the future of American politics. What do you think? Are we witnessing a fundamental change in American voting patterns, or will things snap back to the way they were? It's something to ponder as we head towards November. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks for having me. It was a good one.
Catch you next time.
See ya.